Live now to Denver, and David Susi, a CNN safety analyst and former safety inspector for the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. Good to see you, David.
Good to see you, John.
So this isn't just the CEO stepping down. Along with Dave Calhoun, who will leave by the end of the year, Chairman Larry Kellner is not standing for re-election as board director. The head of Boeing's commercial plane unit is out, effective immediately. Calhoun has been CEO for just a few years. So is this simply clearing the decks because of poor management and Boeing's safety issues? Or, given the number of ongoing investigations from the FAA to the Department of Justice to the US Congress, a whole lot of them, is there more to this? Is something else coming down the pike?
No, well, I think that there's changes that needed to be made. What this is a result of is when Calhoun came in, he basically told everybody, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix it through transparency. We're going to make sure this never happens again. And yet something else did happen. He didn't do enough. And I think that's very telling. And I also think that it's time for a change in the fact that Calhoun really didn't have a lot of experience on the line with manufacturing, with doing manufacturing. He was a CEO, he was an executive, and he did that very well since 2009. But when he stepped into this role of manufacturing and overseeing the manufacturing and being more hands-on, I don't think he was the right person to do that. But if you make a promise you're going to fix something, you darn well better fix it, or you're going to be ousted, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, that's been one of the criticisms in recent years of Boeing CEOs. They've had no aviation engineering background. They all came from the financial sector with the goal of maxing out profits. But under Calhoun, the problems at Boeing have led to multiple groundings for safety issues, more than $31 billion in cumulative losses. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea to put a money guy in charge of building airplanes. And I guess when they're looking at a new CEO, are they going to go for an aviation engineer, someone who knows what they're doing?
Well, I think they need to look at two things. One is the culture inside. That's where it has to begin. If Boeing's going to recover and come back from what they were and rebuild the trust on the end users, they have to start with building the trust inside the organization. They have to make sure that everyone in that organization knows that they are free to say that there are safety issues, that there are problems, and to be able to say, here's a way of improving it. You know, that it's smart to have a company that makes money. They've been faulted for having engineers that look for ways to do things cheaper, but that's what business is. You do have to do that, but you also have to make sure that when something goes wrong, when there's something identified that can either improve it or that has gone wrong, they need to have that channel. The whole culture needs to understand that they go up this way and they can come up around. And that's where the new manager, Elizabeth Lund, that's now in charge of quality, comes in. I think we needed that touch. We need someone that is, I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. They needed a feminine touch in this company for years, and especially someone who has the engineering background and the quality and control issues or control experience that Elizabeth has, and she's bringing that there. I wouldn't be surprised if they look for someone a woman leader that can do this properly, that's going to really not have that hubris and say, this is the way we do it. That's not the right way to manufacture airplanes.
Well, in his farewell letter to staff, Calhoun wrote this: "We are going to fix what isn't working, and we're going to get our company back on the track towards recovery and stability." Again, a big boast at the end, but how much damage has been done to Boeing's reputation over the years by simple things, by mistakes? Like we heard from the Ryanair CEO saying, spanners and tools were left lying in the 737 MAX when they received them, that there was just not proper accounting, and not the low-hanging fruit stuff wasn't done, if you like, when it came to safety.
Well, they need to focus through that. Here's the situation. Once you start looking for something, it's called confirmation bias. If you start looking for reasons that Boeing is screwing up, you're going to find them. If you start looking at Airbus, you're going to find them. It doesn't matter where you go. You're looking at how the sausage is made here, and you don't want to see a lot of this stuff. I've worked on the line. I've worked manufacturing airplanes before on an assembly line. I know how they work. I've inspected Boeings. I've inspected Airbus. This stuff happens. It does happen, and you have to stay focused on the bigger picture. Why is it happening? Because it will continue to happen. We are human beings, and there will be mistakes. If you focus just on those individual things, you'll never fix anything. You'll be chasing your tail for years. You have to take an overarching look, build a culture that every person in there understands how they participate in making a safe airplane at the end, not just what they did today, but what they're doing and how it affects safety at the end of the picture. That's the kind of vision that they need. They need to incorporate the safety vision in their vision statement and in their mission statement. It's not even there. It doesn't say safety in their vision statement. You have to have that line of sight to safety, or it's not going to happen.
That's a really good point. A really good point to end on, David. Thanks so much for being with us. David Susi there. Appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you, John.